So we did ABC, which is like a website with like educational games. Can you mute me? Um, there's a lot of different educational games. It's from like pre-K to like sixth grade you can have. My students really like this. If they have like break time that needs to be like more like educational. And there's, subject categories, letters like English language arts, numbers for like math, but there's also things about holidays. So there's more like fun educational games, and the kids don't think it's work, but they're still learning. Which one of the quotes is children learn better if they're having fun. And then there's also 2 different memberships, free or premium, where you can pay for it. But there are some free games and free activities to do.
Excellent. And it
translates well to home. Like you can use it at home and at school. And if you get the premium, you can get access to a lot of free printables. Well, I guess it's not free because you're paying for the membership.
Perfect.
But they're aligned to the standards.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right, Book It. There's a whole crew for Book It. Popular tool. Anybody want to share real quick from this group?
I can share. So, Book It. It's a web-based quiz game platform for a whole group or independent review. So, for me, like I played one today actually, and it's like a game, and they play battle royale, and they like grouped into teams. So not only are they learning how to like socialize and work together, but they're also competing and learning and building up social skills. Because sometimes in my honors classes or my classes where they don't know each other of mixed grades, they don't like talk to each other in the high school, so they just are quiet. So also like competition and equals engagement. That's like my kids love it. They can't wait to play it. They're like excited. They're all participating. So it's one thing that they're excited for math if they're playing Book It. So it's always like a good thing to have something that they're excited for. And it also just helps them learn, better and faster from their peers too. And when they work in teams, they learn from others also. I don't know if anyone else has anything else to say.
Yeah, I like using it in my 8th grade ELA class to like introduce new content and maybe like do myths and like true and false. And the kids really enjoy that, and that gets them excited for what's to come. And also they like to use it to review for like unit tests or large major assignments, so then they could do it on their own time.
Nice. Yeah, this is loved K to 12. I mean, maybe some of the younger grades struggle with it, but in all the buildings, I mean, it's really loved. All right, Josh with Boom Cards. Thank you. Josh, are you here? Okay, well, for the sake of time, we are going to move on.
Hi, hello.
Oh, sorry, Josh.
My internet keeps going in and out, so if I freeze, just skip over me.
Okay, you're good. We got you now, though. Let me go back.
Okay. So Boom cards are basically just online note cards. We use them a lot in special ed. There's an example of one. We did a little unit on electricity. The kids come up to the board. They could hit yes or no. It's linked to Teachers Pay Teachers, which is nice. And there's a
I think we lost you for a moment, but I'm going to pick up where you left off. It's on ClassLink. Really good. I know a lot of K and 1 teachers that use this tool also. So there is a paid side, but the free side is pretty robust, and you could do a lot with it. But I think the special ed department does pay for it. All right. We lost you there, Josh. Sorry. Starfall, Madison, and Deborah.
Hi, so starfall.com is a really fun website that we use a lot in kindergarten. It's very similar to ABC YA. There's educational and fun games at different levels. It only goes up to grade 3, but you can see the different categories in those pictures. Students can learn new skills through exploration of different categories. So it's kind of like that same idea of they're learning more by enjoying what they're doing. There's also like seasonal activities, and they can get to know like certain things like current events and stuff and different holidays that are going on. But it's all tied back to literacy skills. So alphabet, knowledge and letter sound and reading and those basic skills.
Excellent.
Yep, there's a math component too, and we just tied it into empowered learning. Children can explore on their own. There's a place for teachers to print worksheets. It's all evidence-based and classroom tested, and it's really fun for kids. So that's it for that one.
All right, fantastic. Charles Green, Common Sense Media.
Hi, folks. I'm Charles Green. I'm the art teacher at the middle school. The way I use Common Sense Media in my art classroom is typically students will want to make art about other media that they have in their lives. So video games, movies, comic books. Before I typically say yes to, hey, they can make a representation out of something that they've seen somewhere else, I just go ahead and give a quick look at Common Sense Media just to make sure whatever they're trying to make art about is age appropriate. The two I have on here is Grand Theft Auto, which is definitely not for middle school. And if students are trying to make art about Grand Theft Auto, I say no, that's not appropriate for your age. But on the other hand, the Super Mario's movie, if they want to make a Super Mario's things, it's age appropriate. They are a nonprofit organization that funds and advocates for child-friendly media policies. So it's just kind of an all-around good site to check out what students are looking at in their day-to-day.
Excellent. Thank you, Charles.
Of course.
All right, Caitlin Hunt and Desmos.
So Desmos is an interactive lesson platform, so teachers can create different lessons ahead of time, and students are able to use this live, or you can put it on Google Classroom and students can look at it later. This website is designed for math activities, but I have used it for other subjects. I've used it to teach phonics, to write the sound that I'm saying. It's kind of, if you think of like Pear Deck, you prepare those lessons in advance and the students can interact with it on their own device. It does allow for multiple methods of student response. So as the teacher in the center picture, you can see that you can choose what kind of response you want the students to give, and you can give them multiple options. So if you want them to type, you give them a free response. If you want to give them multiple choice question, you can do that. If you're in the upper grades, you can use the graphing feature. They can sketch. I personally, for first grade, have used it for this math lesson here. So students had to sort shapes by the attributes so they can move the cards around. So it's a really great tool. I've used it in grades 1 through 4, but you could easily use it. It's more designed for the upper grades, but you can make it work how you need it to.
Excellent. This is a really nice tool. It could be a little intimidating, at least for me at first it was, but really powerful. Thank you, Caitlin. All right, Gimlet, Katie Schwartz, or GimKit, sorry, GimKit.
Yeah, so GimKit is very similar to Blookit, but just with like some slight differences. A lot of the game I liked is because there's like two-dimensional games that the kids can actually run around against each other. So like you see here, like Capture the Flag, or like Fishtopia, they go fishing. Right now they have a new version that's a big snowball fight that everyone really likes, that you basically answer questions to get snowballs, and you as a teacher can decide how many snowballs they get per question. So if it's a harder, like more thought, like provoking question, or like a math question that takes a little more time, you can give them more snowball fights. But if it's like quick trivia, you can be like only less snowballs. So you just kind of decide. And they just, because they did that, they update this constantly. So they take in things, consideration, like feedback. And so with the snowball, people love that so much. So they went back to their other games and made it so you can kind of edit how many things they get based on like how hard the questions are. The other thing that I really like about this is that it's super easy to do a quick bank. So to make this bank, you can literally pull from other banks, from other pre-made questions. So if you want to bring together stuff, or it's just really easy, user-friendly. And I just think the coolest part is that it was made by high school students.
Very nice. And I haven't used this a ton, but I know it works with Flashcard Factory, which we talked a little bit about 2 weeks ago. So you can even have students make the vocabulary terms that way and then import them into GimKit, which I've seen done is really cool. I've yet to do it. Thanks, Katie. Isaac, Ricky, and Eric for Kahoot.
Hey guys, so we chose Kahoot, and Kahoot obviously is something that probably most people are familiar with. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's basically a multiple choice practice game for multiple choice questions. You can add 4 to, I think, even more than 4 choices. And I'll let Ricky and Eric talk about the competitive side. But one thing that I related to, in addition to Empowered Learner with managing their digital identity, the kids are able to create a little avatar for to represent their name and nickname that they log in and sign into the game with. So that's a cool way for them to kind of express themselves while going through Kahoot. So
Yeah, the competitive side of it is I've seen kids when I do use it. I use it a lot for our vocab and history. The competitive side, I've seen kids like that are not interested in learning or getting in the vocab down at all become interested because of the competition, because of the points that go off of it.
Fantastic.
Sorry, just feeding off of them
Go
really
for it.
quick. I just love Kahoot because, I mean, I'm teaching first grade. It looks like, Isaac, you're college prep biology and anatomy. So obviously the older grades, it's adaptable for all students. And again, the competitiveness, even in my kids, like it really, first grade, the attention spans aren't always there. Sometimes they'll see that first answer choice and they're just like, oh, I'm clicking the green square. So it really makes them think about the question and the answer choices before they click.
Fantastic. Thank you, everyone. All right, Gabriella and Quill. All right. Gabriella, do you hear? Last call. All right. So if you're not familiar, Quill is something I think 6th grade might use, but it's basically like a grammar
Are you able
daily
to hear
edit
me?
type
I'm
website.
sorry.
We
I'm
can
having
hear
a
you now.
audio
Sorry.
issue. No, it's
We can
okay.
hear
I'm
you.
sorry to waste your time. So I did pick Quill, and I tied this into empowered learning specifically for ELA. I teach 8th grade ELA, but this could be used at any grade level. And I also think it has a lot of utility for ELL students. But what it does is it asks you questions with grammar skills, and the teacher can choose whatever grammar skills or mechanics in English that they want to focus on. And the mastery part of this is that Quill will ask you the question until you get it correct, and it will not let you progress through the question set until you get the questions correct. So that's been really helpful for making sure that my students are developing mastery in different text sets and also grammar skills. But it also provides analytics, which becomes helpful for grouping students either homogenously or if you want different leveled students in a group to practice skills. That's also really great. That's about it.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you. Quizlet.
Quizlet is a quick and easy way to study and learn different skills. It's basically like an online interactive flashcard site. Quizlet Live is very engaging. Students are working together to study. I've used it in the past in 3rd grade to study vocabulary words. This year in 1st grade, I've used it to help the kids learn pairs of 10. So I will put in like 4 and 6, 5 and 5, and I will let them come to the board and like match the pairs to, to show which 2 numbers makes 10. And I make it a competition, like, okay, like you see on the screen, the best time we had was 8.1 seconds. So I could try to see, another student will come up and see, can they beat that score? Like basically trying to drill it in them to learn the 2 numbers that makes up a pair of 10. I haven't got into Quizlet Live. I don't know if I don't have that subscription or not. So maybe
I can speak to that. Thank you, Mike, for introducing that to me, first of all.
No problem.
We used it to study. We use it as a study tool for PSSAs. So you can just search all of the different study sets, and it'll put the kids into groups, and they see on my board as they answer questions. It's basically a race to the finish line to the first group to get 12 questions correct. And you can do either matching the word to the definition or the definition to the word. And it's cool because the group, then no one has all the same answer choices. So they have to they're forced to work together to find the answer, because it might be on, not on my screen, but on somebody, if I'm in a group of 3 or 4, it could be on anyone's screen. So they like it a lot.
Excellent. This is always my secret power up before the PSSAs was do a ton of Quizlet Live.
We did a lot of it.
All right, Caitlin Pro, WordWall.
So I use WordWall for Wilson's, but I also use it for review with Journey's vocabulary. So WordWall, it allows different communities of teachers to create different games to interact with the learning that they're teaching. But also students can create it as well. I haven't tried that part too much, but I use it as a teacher. My favorite ones that the kids love to play are the matching, the whack-a-mole, spin the wheel to make new words, and a bunch of other ones. But it allows them to also do it at their own pace. Occasionally, I do it because I teach small group. I have it on the board, and the students work together to review the different things that we have been learning. But I know I can also assign it as a teacher onto my Google Classroom or assign it through the site to them. And they can also do it at their own pace, practice, and change the game that they want to play. So each game that you choose, it might be presented as a whack-a-mole game, but on the side of the site, it has the other options that you can use to change the game using the same words and the same definitions.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Janine, and extra math, please.
Okay, I chose to do the extra math website, which is a math fact fluency program, and that happens to be one of the goals that I set for my classroom, my second graders. We have to increase our fact fluency. They like the program because they get to race the teacher. It's a free, I use the free portion of the website. They get to race against the teacher. You see the guy in the red shirt, and they get instant feedback for their problems. So if they don't answer it within a certain amount of seconds, you can see that the answer is highlighted, and then they have to type it in. They don't get credit for that being correct, but they also get that same question, usually back to back, to try to drill that particular fact into their minds so that they can start to memorize the facts and not use their fingers to add, these single digit addition problems. They have that visual goal there with the smileys at the end. The initial assessment picture just shows the placement, but also when they're doing their lessons at the end of each lesson, they can see how many smiley faces they earn, that's just based on how many they received, how many they got correct. As a teacher, you'll get weekly reports on their status, the percentages that they got correct, where they are in achieving the ultimate goal, which is to get all of the questions right within 6 seconds. At the end of that, they'll get an achievement certificate that they can take home, as well as coloring sheets that they receive throughout the process when they reach different milestones. So I like it. It's pretty fun. It's a good warm up to either when we're starting math class. Sometimes I have it as part of our math centers, but it just fits into what our overall goal is.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. I'm going to skip past this, but while I do this, I'm looking at the clock. We have about 10 minutes left. I know we have a lot more than 10 slides, so I hate to rush anyone, but we are going to have to go fast to stay on time. Jacqueline Tasker, Bamboozle.
Yes, so Bamboozle is an online-based learning program that uses games as a basis to teach students. They have pre-made ones as well as ones that you can create yourself, which is beneficial to me since I'm a speech therapist. And if they don't have one that's working on a skill that I'm targeting, I could just create my own. There's a free basic plan as well as a price plans that are considered Bamboozle Plus. And within these games, there's different options. So there's a play. So these game options include the game show, which is shown on the right, as well as 4 in a row, memory, tic-tac-toe. Those are all considered, those are all under the price plans with Bamboozle Plus. But there's also study, which allows the students to have all of the pictures shown, and they can select if it's correct or incorrect. And then there's a slideshow version, which similar to PowerPoint or Google Slides, they could go through all of the targets that you're focusing on during that time. And then there's a share option, which as a teacher you could upload to your Google Classroom or send out the link to somebody else in case they weren't present in class during that time. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Patrick and Desmos.
So I know Caitlin kind of spoke a little bit earlier about this, but I use this for more of a supplemental tool in my classroom. It is mainly centered around math. I'm not quite sure if it can be used for other subjects. I think Caitlin mentioned that she does use it for other subjects. But me being a middle school math teacher, I use this for supplemental piece, like I said. Essentially, I teach a lesson, and if I find myself kind of stuck or looking for other ways to supplement or reteach a lesson, I usually go to Desmos. Kids usually like it. It's a lot of interactive possibilities. There's also pre-planned lessons already made for you, so very little prep time, which I like. And it has some cool games. I first learned about Desmos by just using the calculator it has. It has a graphic calculator for you to use. So I always tell kids to Desmos. They don't have a calculator or whatnot, so it also has that ability for it as well. It has a simple calculator, has a graphing calculator, so great tool to use.
Excellent. Thank you. Flippity flashcards. Joseph.
So I did Flippity flashcards. It's really similar to Quizlet in that you put in term definition and it'll make you flashcards. But with it is a link that you send to kids, and they can basically play all these games that you see here on their own. They're not timed and there's no score. So it's a really great tool for them to use at the end of class when they have time left over. And it's not like playing an 8-minute book it and then calling it a day. If they have 10 minutes left, they play for 10. If they have 2 minutes left, they play for 2. But they get to choose whatever game they want, and it doesn't have to be the same game as somebody else.
Nice. Thank you so much. All right, Marie and Pixlr.
Pixlr is great. It's sort of like Photoshop, but it's free, and you can import photos. You can copy and paste into the program. You can just have a blank canvas and draw on it. So it's great for doing like digital posters or photo manipulations. And I like to think about teaching kids how images are really easily manipulated. And if they have that experience, then maybe they'll have more critical eyes when they're looking at images around them in the media. And then this is also a tool that I've used when teaching online, or if kids don't have supplies available to them, that they can still make art.
Nice. And this is web-based, I think, right? So they just need any Chromebook can use it. Perfect.
Yep.
Excellent. Thank you. And WordWall, Sophie.
Yeah, so I know that Caitlin already shared a bit about WordWall, but I teach French, and I found it very useful for vocab and grammar review, different practice opportunities. Sometimes I like to switch it up instead of a Bookit or a Quizlet, but it's really good for skill-based activities. So if I feel that they're struggling or they need an additional review on a certain grammar topic, there's a lot of pre-made sets, or I'll create my own, or I'll adapt one. And it's great because I can say, okay, let's spend 3 minutes on your own. Let's practice this grammar topic. And then it's some really good individual skill-based practice to change it up.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you. And Canva. We got a whole crew here. Try and keep it to 60 seconds if you can. I'm trying to keep us on the time.
All right. I'll speak for our group. I'm Sarah Barton. Elizabeth and Vanessa were all school psychologists, so we're not as much teaching lessons, but we use this. It's a free online graphic design tool. So like we have pictures here. There's like a check-in that you can make, then use with students, whether in a small group, you can make your own like posters if you're, with the feelings to check in. Yeah, there's a lot of templates that you could use, or you can create your own. Basically it.
All right, fantastic. And storyboard that, Cindy. Are you here, Cindy?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, perfect.
All right, so storyboardthat.com is a tool that I used last year in my Spanish class. I gave the students a set of vocab words, and then they could come up with a story. And what's really nice about storyboardthat.com is that it takes out like the art skills from the students. Not that I would love for them to like make art, but for a lot of them it's very like scary, or like when they hear they have to draw a whole story, like a comic strip, like they get very nervous about that. So storyboardthat.com, they have a lot of pre-made like backgrounds, they have a lot of pre-made characters, speech bubbles and stuff like that, so they can focus on like what message they want to send. And like, for example, the characters are also customizable, so they can change like the hair color, like the poses of the characters. there's like aliens, there's people from like the 1800s, the Renaissance era and stuff. So this site can also be like adaptable to like other subjects and different age levels as well. I know that there's a basic plan that's free, but there's also a paid plan as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right, Calm from Katie and Christina.
Hi, I'll be speaking on behalf of our group. So I am a school counselor at the middle school, and Christiana is a social worker here. So our use of digital tools might be a little bit different than an average teacher. But Calm is a tool that really anybody can use, be it a school counselor or a teacher. It is a meditation, sleep, and relaxation app that offers opportunities for mindfulness. It offers opportunities to listen to calming music and even do movement activities. There's really brief exercises. So a classroom teacher, even like first period in middle school or high school, could do a 2-minute mindfulness activity with kids every day to kind of get them in the right headspace. Or if a school counselor or other kind of student services person is running like an anxiety group, there's certain activities that they could utilize in their small groups as well. You can access it via an app or on your computer, and there's a bunch of free options within the program.
Excellent. All right, and sorry for mispronouncing your name, Christiana. Procreate and Amanda.
Hi, so Procreate is it's an app that's exclusive to the iPad. It's a digital art platform that also has an animation feature to it. I actually included the top two are just examples that were from my animation and illustration class. But it's really a nice app because a lot of times in the art world, the turnaround times for work is really fast. So you can make work that looks like it was done traditionally, but it's all on a digital platform, and you use the Apple Pencil with that. So you can have your work look digital, or you can have it look traditional. And if you make a mistake, it's just an undo button that undoes your mistake. So it's really nice in that sense. You don't have to go back and do hours of work to fix something. So it's really convenient, especially nowadays.
Nice. I love a good undo button. I live by it. All right. Thank you so much. And let me brush past this. And then Maddie Dillon with code.org is next. Hour of Code, sorry.
That's all right. So this is Hour of Code. This is usually something I use once my students get 45 minutes. I have a choice board, and it's something they really enjoy. In 45 minutes and I'm ready. And this is just something they really enjoy to do once they get that time. It's an opportunity for them to explore, to play and create with computer science. There's lots of opportunities for extension as well. For all grades, it's free. There's multiple languages, and it's flexible with a lot of settings. So you can like change the accessibility, so the all the directions can be read to students aloud, things like that. It's super fun, and the kids really love it.
Excellent. Thank you so much. All right, and looking at the clock, it is 4:16. So I'm going to ask the next groups, I hate to do this, but try and go double time if you can. And then if you do need to leave, I understand. So Renee and Flip, please.
Hi. Okay, so Flip is also known as Flipgrid, and this is a great video-based tool that allows for discussions between students and teachers. So as a teacher, you are able to post a topic or a conversation where other students can chime in and respond. And they make many videos themselves. And this is a great tool to use because it limits students feeling the pressure and being put on the spot. They're able to remake their video as many times as possible and then submit their answer, and they are able to go watch other students' responses, as well as they can always go back to this. Just because the question happened maybe weeks ago, they can always access it back onto the portal if the teacher allows it to stay up. But they are able to develop communication as well as the use of technology, and it's a little bit more engaging. Instead of just writing, they're able to speak with it as well. And I know I have a lot on the slide, but I'm trying to skip around. And it's free. You're able to use Microsoft account or Google account as well.
Fantastic. Yeah, this is one of my all-time favorites. All right, Casey and Google Classroom, please.
I know a lot of people use Google Classroom or use during COVID. I continue to use it mainly for providing work to students. You can see that the students completed the work or at least attempted to complete the work. You can do live stream announcements. And the most beneficial part I found is that you can invite parents and guardians to receive emails regarding the Google Classroom and the homework.
All right, fantastic. All right, Classwork Zoom for Google Classroom, Carolyn. Are you here, Carolyn? Go once, go twice. I don't know this tool.
This is something that I've been using for the
there.
past 2 weeks. Ever since we had to look for something, I found this. It's more, it's for teachers to use, but I think it has sort of given my students more responsibility or to be more responsible, because I showed them that as they're working, I can see in real time who's working, how long they're working. It actually has a 24-hour timeline, and you could see just who contributed. If they're working in a group, you can see how much percentage of it one student did over another. So I think it's a really good tool, especially since I'm a STEM teacher, and we just do a lot of challenges, and they work in groups, and you can see who's pulling the weight and who's not.
Very nice. This one's new to me. I'm excited to check it out. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And quizzes, Christian.
So for quizzes, I pretty much use it like you would use a Kahoot to review a topic after you teach it. It's nice because kids can work at their own pace, and it's instant feedback, whether they got it right or wrong. You can check their grade as they do it. If they get stuff wrong, there's a redemption quiz at the end, so they can redo the same exact questions and get their grade up to 100, because you want classworks to be 100. It's really nice for that kind of thing, because with Kahoot, some kids can't keep up. So this is a good change up for that.
Nice. Thank you. And Padlet and Carmina, please.
Hi, so Padlet was just a quick way to really engage students and allow them to communicate with myself and with each other. I included a video on here that the lady talks about everything and gives a lot of great information. And then I also have an active one if you're interested in it.
Fantastic, thanks. And Seesaw and Sierra and Elena, please.
Okay. You can use Seesaw through ClassLink. We have the app. You can assign assignments or activities asynchronously. Students can record, highlight, draw, and submit. I usually use it for like a high frequency word search. You can just like screenshot a word search with their words in it, and they can go in and highlight the words. They can all access it on their own computers. I also like to use it for recording. So if I want them to read a story, you can have them record themselves reading it. You can find lessons on there that are created already, but you can also create your own, and it's on ClassLink.
Excellent. Thank
and
you.
It has a very simple menu. I just wanted to say it's very easily used with kids in special education, because they can point, they can circle, they can move things around. Even if they can't type and do anything else, they can participate and, erase and things like that.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right, Casey and Legends of Learning. This looks like fun.
So this one is not like a communicator. It's just, I added a slide on anywhere. So sorry about that. But Legends of Learning we use in science class, and they can also use it in math. It's able to be used for elementary school all the way up through middle school. So it's up to 8th graders. They have free teacher, parent, and student accounts. And you can basically like add any assignment from whatever topic you're going over in class, and they have to go through different levels. Like they'll go through levels of questioning, and it's like real game time, but they're learning from the game as well. So they do the questions, and then they learn from the content in the game. There's also, they offer like focus areas for students. So if you want to pinpoint like, okay, this student needs to work on this part, you can do that yourself. And they also offer assessments and lesson plans on there as well.
All right. Thank you so much. And, oh, did I skip one? Nope, I didn't. All right. I think we have one last slide. Google Sheets and Galit.
Okay, so I picked this one for Global Collaborator because the thing I like best about it is that kids get sort of stuck in their heads or in their own groups when they're working in labs, and they never really get to amplify their data by all the data that everybody in the whole class has gotten. But when everybody dumps it into Google Sheets, either by typing directly into a shared spreadsheet, or if you don't trust your class, into a form that dumps into the spreadsheet, then you can get bigger averages, and they can look for similarities and differences, and they just feel like they're part of a whole. And I think that's really important. And then the skills that they're learning are super transferable to like outside of school. So it's not an education tool in and of itself. It's used in the workplace also. And I think that it's empowering for students to get to use something that they can then use directly in a workplace. And they love that once they figure out how to write a formula, that it makes all the calculations so much easier than if they had to do them all by hand. And then if you mess up the graph, you can just switch things really quick and not have to erase your whole paper. So I love Google Sheets.
Fantastic. All right. So everyone did a wonderful job. Thank you so much. I know it was a little whirlwind. I hope I didn't rush anyone. I really want everyone to not only just like remember these tools, but remember the people, because you're a group, you can lean on each other, we help each other. So if it ever gets to a point where you're looking at Google Sheets and you have a question, you can always email me, but I'm sure Galit would be more than happy to help, and I'm sure everyone else that has shared a tool will be more than happy to support you in exploring that tool. So let's support each other and work with each other, and I'm excited to hear any success stories. Feel free to email me about tools you used and you enjoyed. So it's a beautiful day out, or at least it was when I walked in the building. Hopefully it still is. So everyone have a great rest of your day and take care. Thank you so much. See ya.